Yo, what up, guys? We're on the clock. It's your boy Caleb, and I am joined again by the infamous Quinterdoodle, Quint Leale himself.
I
How are we
like that.
feeling?
I'm feeling great actually. I like that new nickname. I really hate that new nickname, but it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna
I've
move
been
past
calling
that.
you that for like almost like 6 months.
Call me Mr. Zillow Stats Guy or Data Ball Media, the plug, the next Daryl Morey, Mr. Moneyball, whatever. They all work.
Yeah, for sure.
Excited to talk some hoops with
This
you
is an
and
emergency.
yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. Sound off alarms. This is an emergency pod recording. The NBA trade deadline. This has probably been one of the craziest ones in recent memory, if not in the NBA history. Um,
Absolutely, dude. Big
I
signings
mean,
all around.
I referred to it on the last pod that I did that'll come out tomorrow. That's going to come out on, late Thursday night. I'll have a pod coming out early Friday morning covering some prospects. So be on the lookout for that. On Twitter. Just keep noties on.
Yeah.
Seamless plug. But
Automatic retweets of whatever he's putting out. It's
yeah, that's the way it's got to be.
algorithm he put in my phone. There's a bug.
Yeah,
Help me.
yeah. um, we talked about the Kyrie trade and just kind of how futures are still uncertain. And I mean, obviously, we have a lot of news to cover, and we're kind of gonna hit each news point. We're gonna take it from February 6th and bring us to the current moment.
I'm with it.
And kind of along the way, we'll chip in different pieces and thoughts that we had, where we think about teams going forward. Each time we kind of hit a team and talk about the move, we'll kind of decide maybe winner and loser of the trade, both of
Yeah,
us each.
I like that.
All right, cool. Um, all right, the first news starting on February 6th at 8 a.m. The Sixers announced that they were interested in reacquiring Nerlens Noel. I don't think that's right.
I don't think that's that relevant. We got
Jazz's Olenek and Jared Vanderbilt were starting to garner interest. We'll see. Vanderbilt obviously gets moved later on. And this was kind of the first inklings we heard of the Suns retooling maybe a offer for Kevin Durant after they obviously didn't get Kyrie Irving. We'll talk about the Dallas Kyrie trade.
could that be the first one we talk about, considering how that's kind of like the first domino?
Yeah. Um, did that happen on the 6th? That happened on the 7th, right?
Yeah, it only happened like maybe like I think the talks about moving Kyrie happened about a week ago, and it was maybe like 3 days ago where like that move happened, and then everybody realized, oh wait, we're really close to the trade deadline, and things are about to get interesting for sure.
Yeah,
So
let's just start with the Kyrie trade. I guess that was on the 5th, I think. Um, that was kind of the first domino that fell. Like you were saying. What are kind of your feelings about that trade, initial reactions that can kind of kick off our conversation? Maybe just this stories page on NBA.com. They need to just do a better job of kind of covering the deadline.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can give you I guess my take on Kyrie Irving. I feel like wait, actually, hold on. I want to check out the full trade details for it.
Um, it was it was Kyrie for Dorian Finney-Smith
Oh, right. Oh,
and
okay. I'll give you my take on this. I just had to be reminded of it because there's so many
Dorian
moves that
Dorian
happened,
Finney-Smith and
and it was a protected first round pick. I think 2027 first round pick, something like that. So my take on that is that the Nets won.
Dinwiddie. That's right, Dinwiddie. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna lose my head over that.
Dinwiddie, Dorian
Back to
Finney-Smith.
Brooklyn.
So I'll say this about like who. Okay, I'll give you my perspective on the trade. I think Mark Cuban pulled the plug on this so that Luka can actually be in this spot where he has help. Fans aren't clamoring for him to have help. He needs more help. Blah 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 blah. Every single comment I've seen, whenever Luka has a great performance, it happens in a loss. Get this guy some help. The LeBron treatment, whatever. So getting Kyrie Irving is giving him a top 15 player and a top 5 shot creator that may or that I think will complement their offense. He's spaced out the floor, and I think that it's definitely an upgrade over Spencer Dinwiddie. But a lot of people are going to be surprised to see how good Dinwiddie does in the offense where he can actually get touches.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Thomas has obviously been balling the last couple of
Oh,
days.
that's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite players in the league. And Cam Thomas has been the guy that I liked since, I saw him as a freshman at LSU. Consistent hooper, bucket getter. That's just kind of the role that he's going to step in and fill. I mean, you obviously, if you're the Nets, you lose your two highest your two leading scorers, and now Ben Simmons isn't going to all of a sudden start taking 20 shots a game.
I think they gained like 5 first-round picks in the process.
Yeah, I thought it was a steal for both sides, honestly. Finney Smith, I mean, is he on an expiring deal? Do you know?
Well,
Look it up. You're the one with the computer.
Okay, all right. Dorian Finney-Smith.
Just look up Basketball Reference, Brooklyn Nets. It's not Dorian. It's Dorian.
Oh, he says he's on a 4-year. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's expendable in the offseason.
He has a player option in 2026, so he's going to be there.
So if they want to flip him, then, again, that's always an option, too.
Well, I'll say at first, let's dissect the Kyrie trade from the moment it happened. I was very much caught off guard when Kyrie's like, "Oh, I want to leave," because the Nets were.
I don't really care about the narrative stuff, to be honest.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I'll say that they were a 3 seed, and then Kyrie decides to leave, and that changes. I thought that Kevin Durant was going to stay, and Cam Thomas was going to fill up that role that Kyrie was leaving, and Spencer Dinwiddie was going to help too. I thought that the Nets were going to contend, but then when they dropped Kyrie, and then KD wanted out, that just like shook up some things, and I feel like the Nets are in a really good spot right now where they can just rebuild over the next 4 years. Frankly, Cam Thomas is an absolute breakout. He is like, imagine patiently waiting to get touches while playing at practice with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean,
he soaked it all in.
We talked about it on the podcast. Me and Kev talked about it, how, for Jaden Hardy, the Mavericks, how this could be a great opportunity for him to continue. Obviously, he's been learning from Luka, and, he's improved a lot, and he's only a rookie. In a couple of years, maybe with a year behind Kyrie, if Kyrie comes back, that's a guy who could really benefit from playing under
absolutely
a guy like Kyrie with the tutelage that he can give him.
Josh Green too. He surprised me.
Yeah, Josh Green's been playing great. I guess the other notable thing that happened after the Kyrie trade, I'm kind of caught back up. I'm just going off Shams Twitter right now because that's the kind of the best spot.
Shams versus Woj.
Yeah. Steph Curry obviously got hurt. I think that the Warriors are still a factor to maybe get back in. They obviously moved Wiseman today, and didn't get Sadiq Bey out of that trade. I thought that was kind of interesting.
They got GP2 back, which I think is good.
I don't think that did they.
Yeah,
I don't think they did.
Got him. GP2.
Sure?
They actually threw 5 second-round picks at Portland to get him.
Look it up.
Oh, I
want to see.
Oh, you want okay? You want to see the concrete?
I want to see.
It was quite literally. I'll tell you straight up. They sent James Wiseman to Detroit for 5 second-rounders, and then they gave those 5 second-rounders to Portland for Gary Payton second.
So they sent picks to Toronto, or Toronto sent picks to them.
Basically, the Warriors lost Wiseman, and yeah, they lost. It was just basically a Wiseman for GP2 trade that they used 5 second-round picks from Detroit.
He was good for them, obviously, part of a championship winning team last year.
Dude, one of the most athletic little guys I've ever seen. It was like he can guard every position, but he's like 6'2" or something, which is just remarkable to watch.
He's an awesome player. I thought it was really interesting, just the whole fallout of all these trades and kind of how it felt like Wiseman had to get moved. I felt like maybe they could have moved Moody and Wiseman to get Anunoby. But I think the Raptors saw, because of the Wiseman trade happened after the Durant trade. I think the Raptors saw all this talent move out west and are like, we can roll with ours. Like, they legitimately have one of the more talented, starting 5s in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, depth wise, with Scotty Barnes, OG, Siakam, VanVleet, like there's good positional fit there with all those guys. I feel like maybe they don't get enough shooting on a nightly basis, but I mean, I would have liked to have seen all those players maybe on different rosters, besides Scotty Barnes. But going forward, I mean, if you're a Raptors fan, I don't think you're mad that you guys maybe stood pat because you're gonna have a better outcome to the season this year. But looking maybe over the next couple of years, with the way that I view this draft class, which we talk about mostly on this podcast network, people have heard me talk about there's really like 10 decent draft picks in this draft, and there's a lot of guys that could come off your bench. And I don't know, if I was the Raptors, I look at the lottery and there's a lot of guys that fit our philosophy in terms of length, on-ball skill.
I feel like the Raptors' whole draft strategy has just been like, oh, we messed up and didn't get Giannis, so let's just get a bunch of guys that like fit that sort of prototype, like project type of guys that they're insane.
I mean, it's worked out pretty well.
Oh, it has.
I mean, all 4 of those guys are, even Scotty Barnes at this early in his career, talking about the rookie of the year, are all, max caliber players have been at some point in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I kind of put Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley in like a similar category, despite
I
Mobley's
mean, going
better.
back to that draft, I'm taking, and my pick order goes Mobley, Barnes, Green, Cunningham. I might even go Wagner over Cunningham.
Oh, I would do that
I
too.
might
I'm
even
not a
go
fan of
Trey. I
Cunningham.
might even go Trey Murphy over Cunningham.
And,
Fuck wrong with me.
uh,
Fuck wrong with me.
well, I would say this is like Cunningham from the analytics perspective has been actually like by the numbers has been the worst offensive player in basketball. It's kind of like
2K gave him like 4 badges. He has like 4 badges on 2K. He's an 84 overall.
yeah.
TJ Warren has more badges.
This is the real analysis right here through 2K.
I was
I mean,
looking
that's
at
how
that
it used to
today.
be for a while. It's just like, oh, can he play 2K? Oh, Gerald Green, 76 overall is
I
actually
was
like an 85 overall.
even when I was like 13, I was going in there editing rosters. Like I was like, damn, Matthew Dellavedova's pick and roll defense IQ was not nowhere near high enough on this game right
I wasn't
now.
really thinking about pick and roll IQ.
I'd crank that. I was. I mean, that's all I was locked on to. Clearly, we grew up in different generations of basketball. I grew up on the Spurs purest form of basketball.
Different generations were like the same grade. That's great.
Yeah, whatever. All right, different generations of basketball fandom.
True, you've lived 1,000 lives, so
I have.
I understand. I understand where it's
I've been to the end and back again.
Yeah, I'm actually Daryl Morey's. I guess a reincarnated version of him.
Back
RIP to a legend.
I've been from everywhere.
I like that we're staying
wait. There's crazy stuff. Dwayne Dedman, and a second round pick to the San Antonio Spurs. That was pretty
game
friggin' wild.
Game changer. I honestly don't even want to talk about Kevin Durant. I'd rather just talk about Dwayne Dedman. It's more
Jeremy Boy gets a 10-day deal with the Heat, which is dope. Shaden Sharp dropped out of the dunk contest. We have Mac McClung in there though, Trey Murphy and KJ Martin, which is all going to be dope.
Trey Murphy.
Yeah, that's my guy. You know that.
Dunk contest. I mean,
and he might even
a great catch and shoot
and he
guy.
might even be. Dude, do you know that he has got like a 40-inch vertical?
No, but I'm excited to see that. I guess I'm a casual fan. That's why he brought me on here.
100%. Lakers, Jazz, and Timberwolves obviously engaged in a deal that sent D'Angelo Russell to the Lakers, along with Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley. And then the Lakers sent out Russell Westbrook to Utah and other first round draft compensation. That included a first round pick and other draft compensation. I mean, and then Mike Conley went to Minnesota. So I thought that was a really good deal. I don't know where
it's a little late to be honest.
To be honest, I don't know where D'Angelo Russell fits with the Lakers. I think that he can.
I think he's just taking away the bad touches and turnovers that Russell used to have.
Next to a player like Schroeder?
I don't think Schroeder's gonna get as many. I don't know if he'll be starting because I could see Malik Beasley at the 2. I think it's gonna be. Well, think about this. LeBron James is just really a 6'9" point guard, and so I don't think he's played with many like facilitating point guards. He usually plays with score first kind of point guards, like he'd Mo Williams and Kyrie Irving. And now he has D'Angelo Russell, who I would say is like a very good shot creator, somebody that you can lean on. He's going to space the floor and be somebody that can spot.
I don't know if he's a very good shot creator, though. He's just kind of slow. He takes up a lot of the shot clock. And he's not like Luka where he can get really easy buckets around the basket.
I wasn't comparing him to Luka.
No, but I'm saying like compared to other players that have a really high usage rate compared to the amount of shots they're taking, you know what I mean? Yeah. He doesn't generate a lot of points around the basket, which is something that worries me when I look at across the aisle and I'm saying when I'm trying to stack them up against a team like, oh, well, wait, we didn't do the winner or loser of the Westbrook trade or the Kyrie trade.
Oh, the Kyrie trade? I think it was a win-win.
Yeah, that's what I thought we agreed on.
No, I'm going to take that back. So at first I felt like it's a win-win.
Well, I think the Mavs obviously.
I think the Mavs might actually lose that because they gave away a first rounder and it's unclear whether Kyrie or I would say Spencer Dinwiddie, frankly, like from what I've seen. Well, Spencer Dinwiddie, he ranks ninth in the entire league in points in isolation. Luka's first, Kyrie second. And Spencer Dinwiddie was doing that, being a ninth ranked, while playing behind the biggest, like the highest volume, highest usage player, pretty much in recent NBA history. Just before, after the 2017 space race between Russ and Harden, this guy makes it harder for you to create your own shot. He kind of likes to use players as chess pieces, So I feel like in Dinwiddie in a different situation could be dropping 25 points and actually probably
I
top
agree.
five in isolation.
He was what he was he averaging like 23 a game when he was with the Nets the first time. He was a
Something like that.
borderline all-star. My memory is pretty good. I think it was somewhere near there. I remember seeing like a player of the week, like something like type of like edit of him on social media at some point in time. But
Dinwiddie's in the 96th percentile for
that's
isolation.
sick. That's
Incredible.
sick. Neat little stat there, Quint.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I I think that's a great point. Dinwiddie, I hinted at I like that fit back with Brooklyn. I don't mind Ben Simmons with that team. I hate Ben Simmons on team with guys that need to be able to create their own shot off the dribble and have that type of spacing to make that happen. I just don't think he mends well with that. He mends better with pick and roll partners. And I think if you look at him and Claxton, they should, have a little bit more spacing. Like he won't have to be the player that's providing the spacing. Other players around him can be the spacing. I don't think maybe Finney Smith fits very well, but he can come in and supplement that defense. I think they're going to still, when you look at their roster, they could still hang around and be a really good team defensively.
Yeah, I think they're actually in a good spot. Despite losing KD and Kyrie, I think Cam Thomas, just like the confidence that he's got over the last over that 3 game stretch, and I just want to drop this stat to give some context to it. There's been about 50 times in NBA history where a player has had 40 points in a game 3 times in a row, and Cam Thomas is the youngest person to do that. The only other players to do that in the last 10 years has been Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, peak Russell Westbrook, and Kobe Bryant, and Giannis.
Yeah.
And Steph. So he's in that company. And he's 21.
Yeah, he's a great player. He was playing. I tweeted it the other day. He's playing like he does for me in my league.
Yeah,
That's
it's actually incredible.
That's my guy. I've been I'm a purist, a basketball purist, and Cam Thomas's jumper is like up there with my favorite things in basketball.
The first time I think you had mentioned him to me, and that was one of the first times I'd heard about him. And I like your description of him as like a 3-level scorer and like just a natural at it. And I didn't really do the analysis of watching his game, but I had done summer league stats just because I get bored when I do stats like that. I think 2 years back when he was a rookie, and he ranked as the second most valuable offensive player according to my advanced data. And I was like, okay, well, why isn't he getting touches? Is my data wrong or whatever? And like, turns out that like he can do that at the highest level at this point.
Yeah, he's a Shaq's at best. There's players that are shooters and there's players that are scorers. He is both.
Do you see that performance versus the Clippers with he was being guarded by like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard?
Right. Yeah, they're
incredible.
Legitimately is, and I think, but the thing is your favorite players known this. Like everybody in the NBA has known this about Cam Thomas, that he is like a bucket getter, and it's just like sometimes us as fans get so distracted by the glitzes and the glamour. I'm not really an NBA basketball fan anymore. I can say that. Like I follow the game, but I really don't yearn for it. I love the college game. I feel like it's more genuine. And I feel like the dramatics are less, kind of created by narratives and more just through natural drama. You know what I mean? Of like rivals, true school rivals.
I actually respect that take.
Like players, but having stuff on the line, like your future's on the line. Millions and millions of dollars can be decided by one game, a guy falling, 5 or 10 spots in a draft, like one game in the tournament. Like that type of stakes is just isn't there in the NBA. And I think the trade deadline is always an interesting time to see where these players' heads are at, where these GM's heads are at, and kind of moving on. Do you have a winner or loser of the Lakers
Westbrook trade? Yeah, I'd hate to admit it, but the Lakers did win that trade. Considering like Westbrook's contract, but like $40 million base salary. Basically, he was, I think, this season, I think he was like a top 5 highest paid player, despite being like a bottom 5 offensive player based on all advanced metrics and pretty much anything you can find. People were calling him the 6th man of the year just because he was like getting 30 minutes a game, putting up numbers that made sense for that. But they weren't like looking at the fact that he's like just not really, he's just not good. So the Lakers, by getting rid of that drama, getting rid of that contract, it opened up their roster for some players that complement LeBron and AD, and that's really what won them a championship, was having 2 stars, top 15 talents when they're at their peaks, and
bunch of other ancillary pieces.
Absolutely. I'm I think that they made a big mistake by getting Russ a while back. I'm really surprised by that. I feel like a lot of us kind of put Pelinka under the bus because it's easier to target him than to target the GM, just for like a fan base and narrative perspective. But yeah, the Lakers definitely won this, but at the same time, they won that trade, but the West just got way stronger by bringing in Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And yeah, that might challenge them in the playoffs.
I think the winner of this trade is Minnesota. And I think they get Mike Conley, who's going to come in and kind of straighten the ship for them. I think the Lakers will flame out in the second round. I think they'll lose to a team that's led by Curry, Jokic, Durant, Booker, or Doncic. I think that one of those four teams, or even a Kawhi and Paul George team, I think just outlast the Lakers long term in a series. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell's going to have to be a real difference maker for me to get behind the Lakers being a team that makes it a conference finals push.
Yeah. It's very AD dependent.
I think the Timberwolves could be one of those teams that borderline if Ant's playing that good, and Towns and Gobert and Conley, the best version of themselves. Got Kyle Anderson, slow-mo coming off the bench. You have a lot of other pieces around those guys, a lot of talent on their roster in Minnesota. And they were maybe a team that I kind of wanted to get Vanderbilt, but
yeah, the T-Wolves kind of scare me a little bit because they traded away a lot of their draft capital in the process of getting Gobert, and they actually rank last in terms of draft picks that they have over the next like 6 years. So they're like kind of going all in now.
Yeah, and I don't mind it though. Like I like Ant and I like Towns, and I don't think that Gobert is that bad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna disagree. Like I used to love Gobert as an advanced stats junkie. I'll say this: there's actually been a lot of writing and a lot of talk about how advanced stats can only go so far. It's great for offense, but defensively, there's a lot of limitations to what you can track.
Yeah, it's defense is a one-on-one per scenario IQ game.
Perimeter defense is very hard to quantify. So guys like Drew Holiday and Kawhi Leonard, it's very hard to stack them up versus a guy like Gobert, who pretty much sees like almost 25 contests a game just by being in spots. And, his contest is very valuable, but like that swing, running around him and then finding the open shot that's not contested by him, like that's harder to show for his value. So I feel like I'm going to be honest. I love that Conley's going to straighten out the ship. I really think they needed a veteran presence. A veteran presence on that team. But I feel like the T-Wolves are a lost cause, and I just think the West is just so strong that they're not going to really.
I don't know. I feel like Mike's going to look at going to the number 11 defensive team in the league and be like, "Hey, we're here to make this a top 5 defensive team in the league, and what it takes to be a championship contender." JJ Redick says it all the time. Like you have to be top 5 in defense, top 5 in offense. Those are the best teams of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only team that's actually in that spot right now would be the Celtics. The Celtics are third in offense, 5th in defense, and there's other teams that are kind of close to that, but they're really the best two-way team.
I wonder what Phoenix is at when Booker's healthy. When Booker's healthy,
Philly is the closest two-way team in terms of being their top 7 in both offense and defense. And then everybody else is either like
how did Brooklyn go from being the 5 seed to being? All right, we're done.
It's very surprising to me. I feel like Kevin Durant just didn't like the drama in Brooklyn, and like if he didn't win a chip this year with the pieces that he got, I felt like it just would have been tough. He just wanted to get out of Dodge because the whole media in New York can just be pretty overly critical and
Mikal Bridges is their star player now.
It's actually incredible.
I mean, Nick Claxton though. Are you sleeping on Nick Claxton?
Well, I think in 4 weeks' time we'll see the Cam
Thomas.
Cam Thomas is going to be
Cam
the star
Johnson.
player. Yeah,
they have a good team, bro.
They do. They have a very good young team, and I think they're in a great spot to develop.
A lineup of Cam Thomas, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith. You got Cam. Oh my gosh,
they actually have a decent roster.
That's what I was saying though.
It's about chemistry and
time. I think that the Nets honestly are still a playoff team.
Oh, I think that they're going to be a play-in team and can probably cause trouble too.
Yeah, I think
Dinwiddie, the Bulls to me.
Yeah, Dinwiddie, Thomas, and then you have Mikal Bridges, and then at the 4 you have Cam Johnson. At the 5 you can run. Oh my gosh, you can run Simmons and Claxton. You can run Simmons at the 5 with Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. Dorian Finney-Smith can go to the 4. You also brought it. I mean, you kept Seth Curry, you kept Joe Harris, you kept a lot of these pieces that you really needed shooters wise to stay a factor. And moving on to the next trade, you got rid of Kevin Durant and you sent him to my Phoenix Suns. I'm a Suns
Yeah.
fan.
Let me ask you, what's your take on the Suns getting KD? What do you think that does for them?
I talked about it at the beginning of the season, before the season started with Julian. The kind of the rumors were spouting around then. And me and Julian were kind of starting to do like team breakdowns in the preseason. We just ended up saving it for the kind of the format for college stuff. But we got about 3 or 4 episodes in, and we never released them. But some of the episodes that we did, we just did the 2 finals teams, and then the conference. Actually, we did 8 teams. We did the conference finals, and then actually we made it through the whole playoffs.
It's like an unreleased.
Yeah,
it's like unreleased Playboy Cardi or Kanye and
deep
SoundCloud.
deep archives. And in the Suns part, we talked about the idea of a Kevin Durant trade. We also talked about him in the Miami one, but because we just didn't want to go crazy with saying every team should trade for Kevin Durant, but every team should try and trade for Kevin Durant. And we moved in with the 4 draft picks. We didn't have to give up Ayton, and we didn't have to give up Chris Paul. And then I would have been willing to give up Chris Paul. I didn't want to give up Ayton at all. I didn't want to give up Mikal Bridges, but we had to.
As a fan, you don't want to give up anybody, but you have to make sacrifices.
I just don't like how we did Mikal dirty like that.
I mean, that's kind of like the same sort of vibe as like Tyrese Halliburton. Like, in order for that team to get better, they had to get Sabonis because that Sabonis would complement De'Aaron Fox more than Halliburton would because they play too much of a.
I hear you, and I mean, Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges together maybe could provide what KD does in one night, but you can get that in one player. And then we made the move to get Sarge out and bring in Baisley, and I don't mind Baisley.
What I find interesting about this trade is that as of right now, the Suns and Mavericks sit at as the 5th and 6th seed based on the metrics that I have right now. Because win percentage is a little BS. Like, let's be clear, that's so like
they could play each other.
Yeah, I mean, who do you
think? First round.
Like, what are your predictions for where they're going to finish in the West?
I think obviously the winner of that trade's the Suns. Anytime you get Kevin Durant, you're winning.
Absolutely, they didn't have to give up too much, and it remains to be seen what those first round picks turn into, because you never really know.
It's been remaining to see whether like the long term first round pick, like hauls, really actually turn into championships. The Thunder are the first like case of it. I mean, the Rockets technically were, and the Rockets haven't done absolute jack, right?
Yeah, I actually had this updated from last night. So pretty much right here, these are the draft picks through 2029. And I gave basically 1 point for every single first rounder and a half point for every single second rounder. And the Utah Jazz and OKC Thunder are really leading the pack. The Jazz are really like, they're building. Like, I'm very proud of how their team is run. Lauri Markkanen is amazing.
San Antonio's got a quiet 19.
But the team with the worst draft picks right now is Timberwolves. They have 4.
Yeah, I mean Phoenix, they got depleted. Down. I mean, we still have enough.
I haven't updated it.
You haven't updated it, so I mean, we would probably have near the bottom in draft pick compensation.
You guys have the near the top in terms of talent.
I mean, arguably, do we have the best top 4 players in the league? I would like the best top 4, in a rotation.
On paper, when healthy, I think the Suns. If all teams were healthy and they started off the season, played 82 games, and I think the Suns would be the team that came up on top. But as of right now, the Nuggets are just playing beautiful basketball, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with. It's just about really who can stay healthy. And like I'll give you one example is like the Pelicans to me. They maybe like 3 weeks ago, less than a month ago, they were the number 1 team. Yeah, that'd be Herbert.
You don't have Troy Murphy in there.
No, because it's really based on like 2-way usage. But impact wise, I think Trey. I think
has a higher.
Yeah, he's. Yeah,
he does. Actually, no, I'm telling you that I've looked at this.
Well, the Pelicans are really.
I was looking at who they should trade. Like if they should trade, I kind of wanted Trey Murphy to maybe get traded like the Pacers or something like that. If like the Pelicans move for Buddy Hield or something wild, like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy for Buddy Hield and a bunch of draft stuff.
The thing that I find very interesting about the West is the fact that the 13th best team, the Lakers, are winning 45% of their games. That's the difference. Like, there's a 5% difference between them and being a league average team, and there's only 2 tankers below them. So the fact that the West just got stronger, just
I mean,
makes me
just both
question.
conference have two tankers.
I feel like it's very the West is so up for grabs right now, and it's really how people approach it's really about how teams approach the second half of the season is really gonna indicate to us what the playoffs will look like. Because as of right now, you're gonna we all know that Denver's gonna be there. I think Memphis is gonna be there. Although people are giving a lot of people on Twitter like, oh, Ja, are you still fine in the West? I think given how injury prone Bane and Jaren Jackson have been on at least in the early part of the season, and they're still the second seed, is incredible to me. So I think a full health Grizzlies is going to be a force to reckon with. And right now, the East is looking very top heavy. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think you covered kind of at least my perspective. Um, Definitely, I agree on a lot of what you're saying in terms of the kind of where the league shakes out. But in terms of talking just a couple more trades, and we can kind of make some predictions going forward.
Yeah, I also want to hear from the draft perspective, which teams you think are going to see the biggest jump next year when they get picks and
Players back.
experience.
The key thing is getting players back. I think the Thunder will be a 50-win team next year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they'll be a 50-win team. I think Chet Holmgren will be one of those guys like a Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons type of guy, where when he comes back, wins Rookie of the Year.
Oh, 100%. I'm very confident. Like how he plays is Kevin Durant.
I mean, it's going to be between him and Victor Wembanyama.
It's incredible how I feel like we're finally realizing now that Kevin Durant is actually the prototype of the next generation. I think it's a combo of really him and Steph Curry are like the players that are coming up these days.
It's not so much Steph Curry. I think it's more
his shooting influence. That's what I'm explaining. But I guess KD does the same thing too, right?
I just think the game, everybody's needing to shoot at every level now. It used to be still where for a long time in high school basketball to succeed, in the college level to succeed, you didn't need to shoot a lot. Don't interrupt me.
I just got to say this.
You asked me a question.
Listen. I stroke of genius right now. The 2017 Warriors, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant, those three players very much make up the archetype of the next generation of players. Because now big men like Sabonis, Jokic, are playing like Draymond Green did. They're being facilitators and they're running the offense. And guys that are tall can now shoot like Keegan Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and then all these guys, Jabari Smith, all these guys that are coming in the draft class very much resemble KD. And then Curry, we all know his influence. So I think those three players on that great team actually had a lot more impact than I'm willing to give them.
Yeah, I mean they won 2 championships.
Pretty good.
Together.
Pretty good team.
Yeah. I mean, there's that like picture of chubby Jokic where it's like, and I saw it on Twitter where they're like, all these teams out west are really trying to reassemble to beat this man, and it's just the picture of like 14-year-old Jokic with just
I saw that
big old titties. I mean, it's so funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Jokic is just so special to me. I feel like it's like my generation's Larry Bird, but he doesn't talk as much shit because he doesn't speak that fluent
I'm sure
English.
He does talk shit.
Probably does in Serbian. He's like,
I mean, Luka. I feel like Luka's more like
it's a crybaby
though. I feel like
he's got the same form as LeBron does when he goes up to a referee. Same mannerisms. Yeah, same energy. It's really incredible.
He's very LeBron like. I think that I was talking about this barbershop talk. But, I was saying that Luka, Giannis, Jokic, and Tatum, like all right now, have the best chance of like being like in the GOAT conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Long term. And I think Luka and Giannis are at the top of the list, in my opinion. I think Jokic less than that because he's displayed that he can't get past the second round of the playoffs. And, you know, obviously.
And he was in the Western Conference Finals. And
LeBron has 3 rings. So,
I mean, Jokic is like 24 when that happened. Now he finally has his boys back and he's the number 1 seed in the West. I don't know. I think there's a lot.
How well did that? Didn't they get swept by the Lakers?
No, it was 1-1, and
they
then
they got swept by the Suns the next year though.
Oh yeah. Well, it was 1-1 that series, and then Anthony Davis hit a buzzer beater to like kind of deflate the team, and then they just didn't have gas after having 2 7-game series before that. But it was cool to see that Nuggets team really make a run in the bubble, and I think that we might see some action like that this year, which I'm excited for. Do you have any non-Suns teams that you're excited to see in the playoffs.
The Lakers, they got Mo Bamba.
Did they get Mo Bamba?
Did you not know that?
No, I know. For Patrick Bev, I feel like there's got to be some under the table sort of deals that Rob Pelinka's doing. It's like, hey, like I'll get your daughter some courtside
I
Lakers tickets, some
go
Kesha tickets or something.
Scotland.
We can't say the rest of the song, but cinematic, some cinematic stuff right there.
I mean, it's just about having a little bit of personality.
Yeah. MB. Wait, question. So, you said that the top 10 picks in the upcoming draft are really going to change franchises, or they're going to be high value picks. Like
Wembanyama is going to change the course of whatever franchise he goes
I think
to.
Scoot too.
Scoot's really good. I think he reminds me a lot of John Wall.
Yeah, John Wall, but like
and
better.
like I think I don't know
Yeah,
about
better.
better. John Wall
John Wall was never a good shooter though. That's what's limited him. His ceiling has been lowered.
Go watch John Wall.
I've
early
seen
on.
his Dougie highlights.
Kentucky John Wall.
Yes, they just get anybody that like has freakish athleticism and just like is like labels like they get on the highest stages of NCAA because they just have so much talent there. I think it's like 5 NBA picks in that roster, right? With Anthony Davis and Wall and other guys.
Yeah, I mean they were all dogs.
So unfair.
Eric
Anthony Davis is
Bledsoe.
I think wait, I have an argument. I think Anthony Davis is probably the most dominant college basketball player ever.
Yeah. Besides Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell.
Right, but who was Kareem playing?
Kareem was playing against Bill Russell.
Every game?
No, not every game. They played each other once.
What about Bill Bradley? I heard a lot of great things about him. Heard he was a raw prospect and he dominated today's game.
I mean, Kareem is the GOAT, in my opinion.
I think that's like the easy middle ground GOAT, Kareem. I mean, for what he did for his era, he's the GOAT. And then I think everything else is BS, and then Kawhi Leonard is just there. I'll say that with a straight face again.
All right, Quint, just stop like whatever type of thing you're trying to do here and grandstand about your Kawhi takes or whatever. It's just not going to happen.
Though. Well,
yeah,
you got any more questions about the?
Well, I never got to answer your question about like dark horse team.
Oh yeah.
For next year, and then I'll go this year. This year, I mean, I just think Milwaukee. They're not really a dark horse, though. I guess by your definition, they would be
borderline.
I think obviously the Suns. I think the Pelicans. Honestly, the Pelicans. I think are them and the Grizzlies are in the same boat for me with Ja and Zion. I think both of them have the type of impact that when they're healthy and with the pieces that round them that are kind of built to their skill sets, both those teams are built very well around their stars. I think the Pelicans maybe slightly more than the Grizzlies, but both teams have the potential to have that game-breaking aspect where they take a guy like Jokic off the floor because he can't defend.
I mean, I guess so. I mean,
same thing with
take him off the floor.
Yeah, in the pick and roll.
Zion?
Yeah, I mean, he can. I feel like if there's any player in the league that besides maybe Joel Embiid and Giannis that can move Jokic out of the way in the paint, it's probably Zion.
Yeah,
I like Zion's athleticism over Jokic all day.
Yeah, I'm curious how that would work with Jaren. Like Jaren Jackson is actually a player that really excites me.
He would dominate. He would really be able to guard. Not dominate. That was too much, but he would be able to guard Jokic.
I think if the NBA had if there's no foul
and Valanciunas on New Orleans, I mean, you have the defense there.
Yeah. Valanciunas is.
I think
underrated.
both those. It really comes down to both those guys can guard there, and then do they have the guard depth and the wing defensive help to guard the team like the Lakers, guard a team like the Suns, guard a team like the Dallas and the Golden States and the Timberwolves. I think the Pelicans and the Grizzlies both have that. Yeah. Desmond Bane, you got CJ McCollum. Obviously, I'm just naming players around the two stars. I mean, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum.
Pelicans look great because their two best
Jose
players
Alvarado.
I think their two best players have played less than 50% of the games thus far, and somehow they're still a top 4 seed.
Zion and Ja are both all-star starters.
Yeah.
Are they not? Or is Ja bench? Ja might be coming off the bench.
I think Zion might be starting in.
Zion's coming. Yeah, I think
it doesn't really make a difference.
But Curry's not playing, so Ja's probably starter.
Oh, great point.
And then I think probably Devin Booker is an all-star replacement then. hopefully, because I talked about that on um the episode with Kev, but Devin Booker might be the biggest All-Star snub in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean,
He was the player of the month
oh,
for the first month of the season in the Western Conference. Devin Booker was, and he didn't get picked to the All-Star team at all.
this year,
Yeah, not at all.
really. I think that's just a case of really not. I don't know. I think injuries can take a toll on voting and like exposure that season.
Let's go to Basketball Reference. Can you compare some players for us, Quint? Or go to would you do for that to compare minutes played between Jaren Jackson Jr. and Devin Booker?
Oh right,
And
yeah.
then I'll fill the dead air. My day was I'm just kidding. But I mean, keeping it basketball. I mean, we sent keeping it Suns. I guess we sent Jay Crowder to Milwaukee. I guess in a roundabout way. We had brought in Darius Bazley, which I liked. I didn't mind that. We sent out Darius Saric, who I actually like going to the Thunder to be the mentor to Chet Holmgren and Pokuševski. Kind of big men who can put the ball on the floor, show him some passing lanes, open up some eyes.
Big Poku guy.
Poku's my fucking man. I love that dude.
All right, so these are some of the injured guys that made it. Basically Zion and D-Book.
Show me the minutes.
Oh, minutes 33.
The minutes played total.
Oh, this is what percentage of games they're healthy for.
Okay. Can you just show me could you show me all the All-Stars? Do you know?
Oh, that would be. I
Let's
don't
think
know that
about
yet. That'll take time.
Let's think about I could just name them for you. Could you just pull them up?
Yeah.
We got Domantas Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox was a guy who could have gotten in there. He didn't. He got snubbed. Paul George. Kawhi Leonard. Why not? We'll see.
He didn't make it.
I know, but let's just see how many he played. I'm just naming guys that
it.
kind of are in that conversation. Anthony Davis.
Durant.
Anthony Davis. Do Durant. Do who out west is kind of do Steph Curry too.
Yeah. I mean, this is good for
just okay. No, let's just
as of right now.
That's a good sample size. So I mean, Booker played around the same amount of time as Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis, but played more minutes than Zion Williamson, who's a starter. So I mean, if they're holding if they're gonna really get on people about playing time and playing time requirements about it, then I mean De'Aaron Fox should be in there over a guy like a Zion. And I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, he only played 69% of the minutes. Why isn't Paul George getting those looks? And again, why isn't De'Aaron Fox getting those looks? But if you're looking,
I think a lot of it's about recency too, because Devin Booker got injured towards.
Is this point responsible for? Yeah. I mean, look at that. Booker's fourth on there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the problem is. I just I was gonna tweet it today. Kind of the Durant tweets and always a lot of his interviews talking about Booker is that he's one of the most disrespected players in the league, and now it's all come full circle.
Yeah, I think Devin Booker is just.
LeBron said it too that Devin Booker's super disrespected.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of it is because
he's soft, a little soft.
Maybe he's a little soft, but I think it's the two.
I love you, Book. I'm sorry.
I think it's a two-part thing. The reason why the casual fan doesn't like Devin Booker is largely because he plays for the Suns. There's never much love on the internet for a small market organization, especially from ESPN and House of Highlights. They really don't like you guys because you don't drive any of their profit really because they got you and four other fans.
Well, now the NBA is pulling the WWE and just trying to push Phoenix to the moon. Now with the Super Bowl in Phoenix, it seems like everybody's trying to make Arizona the face of the media world. Maybe.
I think they really want the Lakers to.
I think they do too.
I think they want the Lakers.
They realized that they couldn't script out the Russell Westbrook thing to work, and so all right, this kid. Let's get the other ice in the veins guy. We couldn't get D Lillard there. It just didn't make any sense. But let's get the other ice in the veins guy. Let's grab him, and we'll get him there. The ice in the veins guy.
I can figure out. Pretty sure I could figure out which guys are all stars within a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, keep the snub. I'll bring up the snubs.
I want to hear your snubs, and I'll give you mine.
I think Benedict Mathern's a snub, low key. Paolo Caro could be a snub.
Yeah.
I think the rookie guys maybe didn't get the look that they deserve. Alperen Sengun, He might have been a snub.
Sengun is keeping
The Rockets alive.
yeah, above water, to be honest. Thunder are just jokes. No, Houston's
Kyle Kuzma, Aaron Gordon Aaron Gordon was a snub,
absolutely.
but Kyle Kuzma,
Kyle.
Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Jared Allen feels like he always could be an all-star. Wasn't he an all-star last year? Jared Allen? Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Something like that.
I think he totally was. Him and Darius Garland, they were both all-stars. Right?
Yeah, Garland is something special.
Garland's legit. Quint, talk. You gotta talk. It's a podcast.
Oh right, I'm bringing up the All Stars right now. Let's see I basically looked
I feel like we should do this more. Just me and you kick back with the camera on,
yeah.
talking NBA.
Yeah, I'll say this is like so for this year's All-Star they basically had a combination of fans, players, and media people voting. And I took the results, and right now I'm looking at the top 25 vote getters. We
Perfect.
could look at the top 30 vote getters to represent the 30 teams in the Basketball Association and see which guys had the lowest. Yeah, here we go.
Beautiful. Wow, Quint, you're such a wizard.
I'm a wizard.
Wait. So this is like based on lowest amount of points played.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeremy Grant got votes. Where can I see by percentage of votes?
That's kind of this is the order.
So this is by like most votes. So
yeah, I kind of weighted the play. Well, 30 would be the lowest.
Okay.
Brunson was.
But how did Jackson get in if he was the lowest?
Because the system's a little messed.
The assistant coaches.
I think for me, I gave less weight to the fan vote because it was so funny. There was like, I think there was like 5 Lakers players in the top 100 for fan voting.
Yeah, that'll happen. What, like Matt Ryan in there?
It was like Austin Reeves was like 97.
Yeah, of course. I mean, just looking at this,
Lonnie Walker was like top 150.
I mean, just the clear guys that should have made it.
Austin Reeves was actually, I think he was 35th.
Jalen Brunson was a snub. I'm glad that I don't feel like Harden should have been.
I would say I question whether they took Harden out of the All-Star because like Russ was out of it, and I feel like they're like little like narrative together. I feel like I don't know. I think they want I think also they want to draw attention to how good Embiid is and basically like punish Harden for like being like, oh, also like he's not likable after what he did and just like basically being two-faced and leaving Brooklyn. A lot of people, including myself, don't
like the Harden thing. Yeah, I mean
they traded away pieces so that they can get this guy, and we're basically like, okay, we're making a fun situation where we can have one of the best offenses of all time.
And then they had to trade him away for Ben Simmons. How about talk about fucking over a franchise, huh?
Yeah.
Like trade me for another left-handed player, but he's like 10 times as incapable of playing offense as me.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, they basically got the James Harden of defense.
The James Harden of defense.
Yeah, and he has the equivalent offensive game to go with James Harden's early defensive efforts.
That's actually a fair comparison. Actually, Harden doesn't suck at defense, but he just like
now he doesn't. But in his beginning of his career, I mean, the highlights were endless of him allaying people in Houston.
Yeah, I feel like so many people came after Harden's defense because I think there was like 4.
He was like an express lane in transition. You can always go left or right to pass.
Yeah, it's almost like a toll booth kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't have to.
It's like easy. He's kind of like the easy pass.
It was like a toll booth, but like you pay the subscription ahead of time. Dude.
Easy pass.
Like you go in through the lane and you're just kind of like you briefly show your ID. The guy gives you like a nod or like
that would be an easy pass. He's the easy pass of defense in NBA.
I don't know what easy pass is. I'm not from the East Coast.
Oh, seriously? Oh, easy pass is where you have a little thing, a little thing on your basically on your car, and you just drive through the toll booth and it scans it and you go through. That's what James Harden does defensively.
That's sick nasty.
Sick nasty. I've never heard that. I've heard that a few times though.
Cool beans.
Great beans actually.
They're cool beans. I mean, as far as any other NBA trade or questions that you had, I mean, John Wall went back to Houston. they're playing motherfuckers like Justin Patton still. So I don't know how that all is gonna go. A lot of weird, like with how many players got moved, there's a lot of weird relationships going on. Malik Beasley dated Scottie Pippen Jr.'s mom.
Dude, that's like
So now that this
Lakers
name change,
chemistry is just
so their chemistry is a little weird. I mean, like I said, just a moment ago, I mean, what was I saying?
You're talking about oh yeah, you were talking about
Oh
Scotty.
yeah, John Wall with Justin Patton. You remember that interview that they just did with
Yeah,
the
he
with
basically bashed. It's so funny how John Wall thinks he's in a position to talk like about how to talk about how anything is run, because his I don't know, he was an incredible athlete and just like a very charismatic dude, but I feel like his like skills and just like attention to detail is something that has kept him from being in that like Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving tier. It's something that's why he hasn't had longevity, you know. He was getting paid, man. That's all.
yeah, collecting checks. But he had to work a long way back. Him and Rush, you got to feel bad for.
I don't feel bad for you. Well, I don't really feel bad for either of them.
I have a good question for us after before we pick some conference guys. David Nawaba, Usman Garuba, Alperen Sengun. Is this professional though?
John Wall and professional should not be in the same sentence.
I mean, that's facts though.
It's just AAU basketball. Have
The
you
way
seen
that
those
they're
Twitter
playing right
clips?
now.
I think there's like this one clip of this like them having a possession where it's like four players who went in isolation. They just like couldn't create anything in isolation, just like chucked up a shot. There are four different players did isolation on the Houston Rockets possession.
Which Russell do you want? Russell Westbrook, D'Angelo Russell, or Russell from up?
Probably up.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I mean,
D'Lo just gives you some
like
scoring.
pull up a picture of Russell from up so the visual viewers can live with us. Because I mean, this is
You get
if
more
you're talking
minutes. You
you
get
know what I'm
more out
saying?
of Russell minutes.
Like I think
This guy
I
than
think he
actually Westbrook.
I think he's probably a better leader than all of them. He's crafty. He's got the intangibles. I feel like he's coachable. You know what I mean? He's always seeking learning opportunities. And he's adventurous. I mean, he's not gonna he's not gonna play outside himself. Sometimes he might get a little loosey goosey,
He's humble.
but he's also humble at the end of the day. You know what I mean? He's one to take whatever he can get. And I feel like
He can
you know,
play his role.
when you have a guy like D'Angelo Russell coming off at your bench or even starting, whatever they're gonna do with him, and the same thing that they try to do with Westbrook, you run into personality issues. What happened last time with Swaggy P and D'Angelo Russell. I mean, you're telling me the drama doesn't start with D'Angelo Russell deloading, drama.
Drama.
I don't know.
It's so.
I'm taking
I'm just
Russell
gonna say
from
this.
up.
It's so unlike. It's just like it's unnerving to like see or to think about Kevin Durant in the Phoenix Suns jersey.
Should we tweet that out right now? Were you taking Russell Westbrook, D'Angelo Russell, or Russell from up?
I mean, you could let the followers know. I'm very curious what their response would be.
All right. I want to go get a photo first.
Yeah.
Here, you fill the time. Let's do some stats info. We got about I think we go for like 5 or 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Good quality little hour pod ski.
Yeah. Let's run it. I'm just gonna moving over a little something. I got this beautiful data sheet that just like ooh, special. Okay, so basically this is the type of data I play with.
Yeah, but they don't care like that. Just
They love
explain.
it. They love it.
Just explain it.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so disrespectful and rude, right?
Pretty much. I don't know how people talk about basketball players is very. The media. I'll say this: it's like a lot of the.
We'll get deeper into this another time, but
Yeah, absolutely. But I think a lot of people rely on the 1950s sort of box score mindset when comparing players. Like Stephen A. Smith, he builds up players and basically talks about them through the lens of points per game as like that's the only thing that can bring value to a team is who's got the most dog in them, who's going to score 30 points per game. Like that's the only thing they care about. That's why guys like Draymond Green, Jaren Jackson, and Tyrese Halliburton aren't getting credit because they're more pass first guys and defense first guys. And that's what makes me like two-way players, and that's why I started doing stats so I can figure out which players are really doing a good job out there, which role players deserve a raise, things like that. Like Domantas Sabonis right now, he's actually making basically 13. So the best players in the league right now, the highest paid players, make between 25% and 30% of the average team salary cap. That's 25 to 30. Domantas Sabonis, while being a top 10 players, being only paid 13%. Tyrese Halliburton is 4%. Lauri Markkanen is 11%. Jeremy Grant is 14%. Those are called high value players.
you like this tweet?
That's actually a great tweet.
Which Russell you taking?
I've stated the guy from up, but I'm also kind of on the D'Lo side of things. Although I really don't like the Lakers. I really want to see them like crash and burn. But yeah, you can't always get your wish. And while Scott Foster is still walking and calling games, the Lakers will always have a chance. You heard it here, but also you didn't because I might want an internship. And I really respect the NBA and
Fuck Scott Foster
and how hard their officials work. You know,
NBA. I'm Adam Silver. I'm coming for your job, bro. I could run this. I could run this thing.
I mean, it was really like holding the heartstrings when I heard about how sad the referees were after blowing that call on LeBron, how they weren't sleeping. You know, they really just care about making sure that the best team wins. And there's no ulterior motives, that would compromise any games, really. They just all like really care about the game, not betting, not big markets. They really just care about the game. And, you love to see it. Really love to see it. Congratulations, Scott Foster, and still being an official after everything that you did. Congratulations.
I zoned out there for a second while I was putting together that tweet, but
I was applauding Scott Foster.
I heard that and I said fuck Scott Foster. I stand by that.
It's all time great.
I don't like to curse that much, but when you have to, you have to. I guess before we wrap it up, we'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff going forward that you're working on. And we'll kind of get into maybe a podcast at a different point when you got more things to promote and more solid links to put in the description. If you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So if you want me to plug my stuff,
talk as much as you feel like you can without giving up your intellectual property. Could you give me that Prime bottle over there? I need to.
Yeah, have the rest. Pretty much what I'm doing.
Drink Prime.
Yeah, drink Prime.
It's actually mid as shit.
Underrated is preferences, but
I'm
done creating
a this?
Like $2, $2.50.
From where?
Actually, I have the receipt. I think the total between the water bottle and that was $5.38.
Where'd you get it from?
Target.
They really had it. I mean, I heard people in UK are just killing each other over this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. If it was in low supply, I'd have to throw some hands in Target. I don't really care who it is. Nice. So, in terms of things that I got going on, I'm starting this website called Databall, maybe Databall Media, depending upon what domain we can snag. And I'm going to put some money into it and really invest and pretty much give NBA fans the best possible stats they can have. Just imagine basketball reference on steroids and the best source for anything basketball related that covers NBA, college, FIBA, Olympics, pretty much anything. If you like basketball, you're going to get it there. And that's going to be the first thing that you look at. So that's what I'm trying to create. And I'm excited for people to see what I've been working on.
That's awesome, Quint. I'm excited to see what you've been working on. I mean, I get to see a little bits and pieces of it every time we get together and kind of chop it up. But I feel like maybe me and you should make this a more regular thing.
I'm down with it.
You know, you got a lot of stuff going on that you've been working on. You started a club, at
Oh
our
yeah,
college.
sports media club. It's I'm trying to create an opportunity for people to create media. Considering how there's no majors that really give into people with that interest. So trying to create a lane that other people.
Maybe we create our own podcast network with all these different shows in it.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like pasta or like pasta party.
Yeah, we could have a little podcast pasta party.
That'd be hype. Make some pasta, talk some ball.
Just like
Maybe
talk,
get to Noah
maybe
Gallinari as a guest feature.
yeah, other Italian greats.
Yeah, like
Pablo Prigioni.
dude, Prigioni.
I mean,
That was
I'll
one of my
hit him
favorite
up.
players growing up.
I'll hit him up.
Dude, he actually was the first guy to do the Jose Alvarado steal from the side sort of thing. He pioneered that. Alvarado was getting the clout because I don't think Pablo Prigioni really had an Instagram. It wasn't really popping back then. So yeah, congrats on I guess passing on those skills to the next generation. Thanks, Pablo.
I just followed him on Twitter. I hope he comes.
Pablo Prigioni?
Yeah, I just followed him.
No,
But I'm waiting on that follow back though.
true. That's
You gotta
that's how
go.
you made it.
You gotta go comment up on that.
Yeah, that's how you know. Dang, I didn't even know he was alive. No,
You gotta cover.
he's 130.
You have 19 notifications.
I do.
Yeah, who's hitting you up?
How Twitter works. Rookie.
You gotta go like our the on the.
Oh, okay. Offensive player of the year. Okay, I was worried because I made up this thing called offensive player of the year for basketball. So, yeah, that's gonna come out pretty soon.
An idea of having an offense only dedicated award? No way.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of MVP?
MVP shouldn't be an offensive thing. It should be a two-way overall value thing.
Yeah, I don't
Why
know.
would
How
I
do you
limit-
feel about Jake Crowder going to the Bucks?
I don't really think that changes
You
much, to
think
be
that's
honest.
a needle? Do you think that's a needle mover?
A needle mover? No, I just think that Giannis actually sucks this year.
No, from Quint on the needle mover question.
Giannis he's so turnover prone. And he's like so predictable. I mean, he kind of is the manifestation of 7-foot athletic run and dunk man. But hey,
Yeah,
I think that he's really good on defense sometimes, even though Brook Lopez is carrying in that end.
I've been playing with the mic stand a lot. It just doesn't stand up right, and I'm irritated by it now.
Yeah,
My
fight the
bad.
mics.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't down talk Giannis. He's the best player in the world. It goes, Giannis, Luka, Jokic for me,
Yeah,
and I'll stay to it.
One could say that. Give that.
And I'll stay to it. And then I think it's Durant, Curry, LeBron, Tatum,
And Jamal Murray, right?
Booker,
That's a valid list.
Booker, Zion, Ja.
I don't think Luka should be that high.
Booker, Zion, Ja.
I like that you have Zion above Ja. Respect for that because people don't know yet. All right, this is a great pod though. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll do something more concrete together in the future. This was kind of an emergency pod. Sorry if it seems unstructured, loosey goosey.
Very off the cuff.
I mean, we're just having fun. It's been a really fun NBA trade deadline. I'm tired. I stayed up really late. I mean, you texted me at
3 hours.
1:50 a.m. and I saw it before I went to bed at like midnight.
Yeah, I was a little
2 o'clock.
later than Woj and Shams that time, but the reaction was natural.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been listening to this point, I thank you very much. And I'm gonna get this podcast up really late tonight. It'll be kind of just a random upload. Just basketball talk, NBA trade deadline with Quint Leale. This has been a good one. Thanks for joining us, Quint. We hope to have you back sometime soon. Back on the pod. This is your fifth or sixth.
It's my first
Fifth or sixth appearance total.
Yeah, it's my first celeb guest cameo this semester. So
yeah, more to come hopefully. All right. I hope all of you take care. I hope everybody had a safe trade deadline. I know it's been real murky out in these waters. The NBA is, completely changed. Some would say the landscape's shifted, but I think both of us agreed that some of these teams that kind of stood pat, like the Bucks, like the Nuggets, have the best chance of kind of making a push. I think the Warriors, Clippers, all these teams that kind of stayed firm. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors make a run, 76ers. A lot of these teams that just didn't make moves.
The up and down moves of the trade deadline was fun to watch, but one thing remains certain, that there will always be a lack of morality in the NBA, and the Denver Nuggets will be on top this year. So those are the things you gotta know.
I got Bucks over Suns.
That's cute. We'll end with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're off the clock.